Alright, let's get into this. One, I would like to start off with a quote from Shakespeare. Shakespeare basically explained that what's past is prologue. And what he basically meant by that was that when we study the past, we're really studying the future. Or when you look at what happened yesterday, it gives you a better understanding of what can happen or what will happen in the future. The Messenger put it like this: history repeats itself. Now, I mean, it comes in cycles because of human nature. Now, when it comes to America's so-called war on drugs, we have to keep in mind that it's tainted by economics, racism, classism, sexism, nationalism, politics, you name it. You know what I mean? But what we need to do to really understand this so-called war on drugs is this. I'm from Philadelphia. I'm from North Philadelphia. Now, there's hoods all over the United States of America. But in North Philadelphia, the drug problem is at a state where it's like seeing zombies walking on the earth. I mean, it's really getting out of hand. And when I analyze it and talk to the people and try to like get a better grasp of what's happening, I mean, there's a lot of factors in there. It's so complicated. I mean, a lot of people look at it like it's the young boys' fault. But the young boys is following the path of human nature. I mean, they're doing no more than what any and every other human being did on earth. They trying to come up. Now, the Irish sold drugs, the Italians, the Jews, everybody had a ghetto. Now, I mean, Al Capone was doing drive-by shootings. Now, I mean, the violence, the killing, none of that is unique nor new. All of it actually should be expected. As Shakespeare says, what is past is prologue. So I don't fault the young boys for out there wilding out, as they say. Now, I mean, I do believe that the economics of it, the politics of it, the fraternal order of police, the corruption that's involved with it on the underground and above ground apparatus. I'm talking corrupt religious leaders, corrupt cops, corrupt white people, corrupt black people. It's just so much money in that drug trade that it's not going to stop. The so-called war on drugs is a farce. I mean, Ronald Reagan was one of the biggest drug dealers in the world. I mean, you know, it's like, I remember when the police commissioner Outlaw came to Philadelphia, first time I seen on TV, and I was like, damn, beautiful sister. You know what I mean? And I really felt sorry for her, because I was like, she has no idea what she has gotten herself into. You know what I mean? And the Black Lives Matter situation jumped off. You know what I mean? You know, when George Floyd thing jumped off and they was like, defund the police. The fraternal order of police, you know what I mean? They was like, okay, oh, y'all want to play like that, huh? Everybody knows the hood needs the cops in there. You know what I mean? So when they were saying defund the police, they wasn't talking about it like the way they was talking about. They politicized it. You know what I mean? Then Trump came in talking about, when you lock them up, bang their head against the car, I understand. You know what I mean? He basically telling the devil, go ahead and kill them, we don't care. You know what I mean? And the history of the patty rollers or the slave catchers, it's just so much institutionalized racism tied in this that you can't find the heads or tails of this thing. It's that corrupt, it's that serious. You know what I mean? And one of the things as a minister that I realized, and you know, not been on both sides of the spectrum, you know what I mean, above ground, underground apparatuses, you know what I mean, seen it all basically. But I noticed that every city that has Nation Islam temples, Nation Islam mosques, law schools in Mecca, Afrocentric schools, private schools, Catholic schools, Jewish synagogues, churches, giant beautiful cathedrals, Black Panther Party, you name it. Everything you can think of in a positive, holistic, helping people help themselves apparatus is out there. Government funded, non-profit organizations, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Just Say No, county, state, federal police, you name it. And with all of that, it is absolutely hell out there. It is absolutely chaos. Meaning that I believe that if they wasn't there, it'd be much worse. So I don't fault them by any stretch of the imagination. We definitely need that, but it's like, when I analyze, deputize, and scrutinize the situation, I was like, this thing is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And it's so bad that the only way I could see us as conscious, sentient beings making a dent in this thing is we got to get serious. We got to do what Messenger Elijah Muhammad said. We literally, the people, if you go down Kensington, Allegheny, in fact, I'm gonna share with y'all some actual footage so y'all could just get a peep of it. I ain't going to give you a peep of it at night. I'm going to give y'all a peep of it in the afternoon when the sun is at its zenith, when the cops is right there on the corner, just to show you what level it's on. But really, as the Bible says, the soul is willing but the flesh is weak. It's so bad that we literally got to do like Dr. Yakub. We have to get some islands, some farmland, and we literally going to have to get our own militia, security forces, our own judicial system, our own health system, our own doctors and chemists, and bring them in, spiritual advisors, health people, and be like, listen, snatch them jokers up and take them out of there. They gotta physically be removed from that evil world. Literally, you gotta take them out of hell and just like boom, get them where they don't even have access to social media, drugs, alcohol, bills, jobs, money, politics. Get all that crap out of the people so that they could get back in harmony with their humanity. I mean, and I'm not talking like just from a FOI or Nation of Islam. I'm saying from a human, realistic humanity type of thing. You literally gotta clean this up. It's like babies dying out there. It's crazy. You know what I mean? And in order to understand the situation, the messenger teaches us, you can't stop something unless you control it. I wouldn't care if it was a flood, a fire. You can't stop a fire unless you control the fire. You can't stop hell unless you control hell. It's just mathematics. I mean, and people got all these unrealistic expectations about this so-called war on drugs, and we keep spinning our wheels. You know what I mean? And it was the sociologist, historian Kleiman. He explained in his book on page number 17 how that drug use is older than written records. Think about that. When they study ancient scriptures, ancient writings, before there is anything as writing, people are already getting high. They was getting high before the Bible, before the Quran, before the Torah, before the Septuagint, before Moses, before Jesus, before Abraham. People was already getting high. Now, I mean, the historians explained that human beings found that when they partake in certain natural things, like people in this day and time, like, oh, I'm a vegan, I'm a vegetarian, I'm just going to eat fruits and vegetables. You have to be conscious that you can't eat any fruit, any vegetables. There are fruits on this planet that if you was to eat it, you would die. There are mushrooms that'll kill you. You eat a piece of tree bark, it'll kill you. A certain root, a certain seed, a certain berry, it'll kill you. Now, I mean, you just eat a poppy seed, you're out of here. Now, I mean, you can OD eating a leaf. You can, I'm gonna make me a salad of coca leaf. I don't think that's a wise choice to do, my brother. Now, I mean, or sister. Now, I mean, so there's realistic, scientific, empirical evidence showing something as natural as bee honey was fermented and made into alcohol 10,000 years ago, and people was getting drunk off the alcohol. Now, I mean, they getting drunk off honey wine. Now, I mean, beer and berry wines, they was getting drunk off that for at least 8,000 years ago. The ancient Sumerians, historians and scientists would tell you they would take and get high off poppy seeds. You take a piece of stone and just cut a poppy seed, that black tar come out. Now, I mean, oh, you not. Now, I mean, and even in ancient Kemet, ancient Black Egypt, they was making beer, they was making wine. They found cocaine in ancient mummies in ancient Kemet in Black Egypt. Now, I mean, which shows they had the plug thousands of years ago. So this so-called prohibition, how they legalize alcohol, but they make marijuana illegal, they make coke illegal, dope illegal. What they literally is doing is they're opening up a Pandora's box, because wherever there's a hustle, the poor is going to try to come up. So if you got people in Afghanistan where they control like over 70% of the dope, that's where the poppy fields is growing. Why would they grow fruits and vegetables and make pennies when they could grow poppy seed and make real money and be able to take care of their families? And I mean, why would the people not grow marijuana or not grow coca leaf when, you know, you be like, oh, grow corn and grow tomatoes and potatoes and yams? They be like, man, ain't no money in that. I can make money off these bricks. I can make money off these birds. And so the economic incentive, because the government makes it illegal, lets you know it's going to continue to be hell on earth. Now, I mean, and when I was a young boy, I mean, growing up in North Philadelphia, you know, my mom used to have a little real estate growing up. My mom had back then they had what they call dollar houses. She was on welfare. We used to get government cheese and all that kind of stuff. So they gave her, because she had 4 children by herself, so they gave her what they call a dollar house. We had a 3-story beautiful house down area, in fact down 16th and Westmoreland. Beautiful house, nice and clean. You know, on my block, I can't recall like trash and violence. it was the hood. We knew we was. I wouldn't even say we knew we was poor, because we ate, we was clean, we was comfortable, we was safe. You know what I mean? But it was the hood, because I remember we were running old houses, flipping on pissy mattresses. People was getting killed still, whatever. But it wasn't like it is in this day and time. But I remember the lady upstairs used to rent the 3rd floor from us, and she had a drug habit. She used to shoot dope, and I personally never in my life seen her shoot dope. Fiends back then would never let you see them actually shooting up or using drugs. I never seen her use drugs. I mean, I intuitively knew she used to be one of the flyest, prettiest older ladies that I knew. I was like probably like 12, 14, 15, something like that. She was like 40, but I used to be with her sons, and I noticed that she wore like real nice leather jackets, nice jewelry, kept her hair done, but she always had this, it was always this smell in her clothes. Like if she had her coat hanging up with mink on it, leather, nice coat, but it had a smell like perfume. It didn't stink, but it had perfume and some chemical. You know what I mean? And what it was the drugs coming out her pores. I didn't know it at that time. You know what I mean? But one thing about it, the fiends back then, they would get high and just chill. I mean, they, you know, I respected her, loved her. You know, she used to pay me. You know what I mean? You know, she's good people to me. You know what I mean? But it's something different in this day and time. I don't know what chemicals they're using in the weed. I mean, they step on a gram, they mixing coke and crack and meth and dope with so much stuff. Is just ridiculous. They got so many synthetic drugs, that fentanyl and all. I didn't used to see people dying from using drugs. I didn't use, it was like a transition. Like it started with my generation, like in the early 80s. I noticed like this girl from Brooklyn, she came to Philly one time. She came from New York. And we smoked weed, whatever at the time. And she was like, yeah, y'all got any weed? He's like, no. She said, I got something for y'all. It's like, what's this? She's like, y'all ain't ready for this. He's like, what you mean? You know what I mean? And whatever she had, I never in my life had before. It was like, like, back in the day, you get big giant nicks of weed, smoke the weed, good. You know what I mean? I go to school, sell my little, break it down, roll it up, sell some beers. My mom had some beer in the refrigerator. I put some beers in my book bag, roll up some other joint, sell them, make a couple of hours. It wasn't no real big thing. But they came out with what they call dust, black devil's dust, red devil dust, and all this stuff. When they came out with the dust and the dippers and the chemicals, I literally seen my homie eat his baby's head thinking it was an apple. I seen one of my homies run in the street, like, look out, and ran in the street and got killed by a car. You know what I mean? It was making people skits. It was something in the drugs. You know what I mean? And those chemicals is what's killing us in this day and time. We got to be real careful in this day and time with everything, because they malt liquor, weed, coke, dope, whatever. If you don't know the plug, who you really getting it from, there's no telling what's really in it. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, you had people putting Mickeys and stuff and had females going crazy, losing their mind. You know what I mean? It was that toxic. You know what I mean? So we got to be real careful in this day and time, and beware of the devil's tricknology. Peace and blessings, family. The struggle continues.